Well, I'll call the meeting to order of the April 7th meeting of the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission. We'll start out with a roll call vote to see who everybody is here. If you're on the teleconference, please acknowledge. Mr. Bartley?
Mike McHugh.
Okay, yep.
Here.
Mike McHugh?
Here.
Kyle Vanderwall?
Here.
Roger Erickson?
Here.
Spencer Dietrich?
Here.
All right, thank you. Item number 3, agenda items added by commission members or staff. Any commissioners have anything to add to the agenda? Mr. Hill and I will do ours during our director's report. At this time, we'll call for the election of officers. This time, we'll entertain nominations for the position of chairman.
Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. I'll nominate Chad Ford.
Second.
Okay. Is there any other nominations for chairman? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing none, I'll call for a unanimous ballot. Call for nomination cease and cast unanimous ballot for Chad Ford for chairman.
So moved.
Moved by Bartley, seconded by
Second.
Darrell Kleinjohn. All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Bartley?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Nelson?
Aye.
Kleinjohn?
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Spence? Jensen?
Aye.
McHugh?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Erickson?
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Ford is our new chairman. This time, I'll open up nominations for position of vice chair.
I nominate Spencer Dietrich.
I nominate Darrell Kleinjohn. I'll second the nomination of Darrell Kleinjohn.
Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? At this time, we'll move that nomination cease. We'll do a roll call ballot for
There was only 1 second for the nomination.
for Mr. Dietrich. Okay.
There was not a second for
Not
Mr. Dietrich. My second was for Mr. Kleinjohn.
Okay.
So we only have one with a second.
Only one. Okay. This time, we'll have a move for a cast for unanimous ballot for Darrell Kleinjohn.
So moved.
Moved by Bartley, seconded by
Second.
Vanderwall. This time we'll call for a roll call vote for Darrell Kleinjohn for chairman. Davis?
Aye.
Nelson? This is voting on the vice chairman.
Vice chair. For who?
For me.
For Darrell Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
McHugh?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Erickson?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Motion passes. Darrell Kleinjohn is our vice president. This time, I'll turn the meeting over to Vice Chair, or to Chairman Chad Ford to continue the meeting.
Congratulations, by the way.
Number 5.
invitation for citizens to schedule a time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. Seeing as there's no one here. Item number 6, disclosure of conflicts of interest, relationships to the applicant, ex parte communication, etc.
Mr. Chairman, did we do approval of the minutes?
I do not believe that we
I
did.
don't believe we did, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 4th meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bartley, second by Mr. Kleinjohn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
We'll have to do a roll call vote for the entire meeting tonight with the teleconference, so make sure
Okay.
I'm sorry.
There'll be a roll-
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
McHugh,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes. You can just go on to approval of the agenda.
Is there a motion for approval of agenda?
I so move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Davis, second by Erickson.
Okay, Nelson. This is voting on the approval of the minutes.
Agenda.
Agenda, okay, I'm sorry. Darrell? Voting on approval of the minutes.
Agenda.
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 We're approving the agenda for tonight's meeting.
So move.
That's a-
Kleinjohn.
Second. Aye.
Jensen.
Yes.
McHugh.
Yes.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
And Ford.
Yes.
Agenda is approved.
We will now convene as the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission. Consideration of plats.
Need to read the opening statement.
I will now call this meeting to order. I would like to welcome those in attendance to tonight's meeting. The Brookings County Planning Commission is a 9-member commission whose function is to recommend approval and disapproval of land use plans, zoning ordinance, subdivision plats, and amendments thereof. The Brookings County Commission. The commission makes its recommendation based on the adopted comprehensive plan for the physical development of unincorporated areas of Brookings County. As a matter of policy, all motions are made in the positive. After a motion is moved and seconded, it is open for debate. Those supporting the motion shall in turn give their reasons. Those opposing the motion shall then offer their reasons. After everyone has been given a chance to be heard, the commission shall recommend approval or disapproval based on the testimony and information presented. A simple majority vote of a quorum of members of the Planning and Zoning Board in attendance is required to forward the recommendation. Now for agenda item number 9, consideration of plats. Plat 2020, plat 005, plat of Lot 1A, Block 2, Sunset Point Addition in Government Lots 3 and 4 of Section 22, Township 112 North, Range 47 West, of the 5th Primary in Brookings County, South Dakota. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Need a motion in a second.
Need a motion?
Move approval.
Motion by Bartley, second by Kleinjohn.
It don't matter.
Yes, plat 2005, 2020, plat 05. It's a plat of lot 1A and block 2 of Sunset Point Addition. Sunset Point Addition is located at Lake Hendricks, and it was originally platted and approved by the zoning commission on November 1st, 2005 into lake lots, meeting the 20,000 square foot requirement. On October 2nd of 2012, all the lots that were platted in 2005 and were not sold were replatted into a larger lot, and they have now sold a lot, and they are replatting them into individual lake lots as they were originally platted. This is lot 1A right here in the center cul-de-sac division of it here. Here it is on our GIS background, showing the size of the lot. This was the original lot that was platted in 2005. There's a few more lots to go that left to be platted in there. And they're replatting this lot 1 right here. And this is just the large lot that's left. And that's all that it does meet our Lake Park zoning district requirements of 20,000 square feet or more. So it does meet the easements and the setbacks. So that's all that I have.
Is there any discussion from the board on this? Pretty straightforward. Anything from the audience? Seeing none. Richard, call roll.
All right, Jensen,
Yes.
Erickson,
Aye.
McHugh,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
and Ford.
Yes.
Terrell was not here. Daryl. Kleinjohn?
No.
Yep. Yeah, I got them both.
Okay. Now read this one.
Yep.
2020 plat 006, plat of East Water Tower Addition in the east 1/2, southeast 1/4. How do I say that one, Richard? Excusing? South? EXCS.
Excluding the north 33 feet of the highway right away.
Excluding south 880 feet thereof, and excluding the north 33 feet of highway right-of-way thereof in section 23, township 110 north, range 51W of the 5th primary meridian in Brookings County, South Dakota. Richard, would you read the staff report, please?
Yep. Need a motion in a second.
Oh, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Nelson, second by Kleinjohn. Richard, read the staff report, please.
Yes, plat 2020, plat 006. Gary Jensen is planning off 1.16 acre parcel, and the property adjoins the south city limits of Volga and will be annexed into the city limits of Volga in the near future. The platting of the property is the first step in that process, which giving the property a legal description. If for some reason the annexation does not proceed, a residence cannot be built on the property as it does not meet the size requirements. Here's the plat in the corner of 6th Street and Caspian Avenue. It's just a plat on the beacon map, right here is where it would be. Gonna be the future site of a water tower. And here's the large track that it's coming out of will be right in this corner. And that's all that I have.
Is there any discussion on this?
I'll give discussion so we're not totally bored tonight. This would be an advantage to the emergency management department if we do need a radio tower antenna in that area. Putting a water tower in this area would be advantageous.
Okay. Is there any more discussion from the board? Any discussion from the audience?
Is this plat that's 66 acres?
No, this is 1.16 acres.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was 1 acre. Okay.
Seeing no discussion, Richard, would you call roll?
Erickson,
Yes.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
McHugh,
Yes.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item number 2020 plat 007, plat of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 in Cedar Point Addition in Government Lot 3 of the Northwest 1/4, Section 28, Township 109 North, Range 50W of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Davis,
I'll second.
second by Nelson.
Yes. Plat 2020, plat 007. Keith Rounds is platting off lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8A, and 9A in Cedar Point Addition, located on the northwest side of Lake Campbell. The preliminary plat was approved by the board on June 2nd, 2009, which I included. The land was sold and Mr. Rounds is proceeding with the development as planned with minor adjustments. All lots exceed our 20,000 square foot size requirement for the Lake Park District. And the plat meets our Brookings County subdivision ordinance. Mr. Rounds has increased the utility easement from the required 10-foot, which is in our required in our subdivision ordinance, to a 30-foot wide in width on lots 1 through 7 and lots 8A and 9A. And lots 8A and 9A are being replatted to show the increase of the 30-foot utility, 30 feet wide utility easement. An application have been made and submitted for Historical Corps of Engineers and Game Fish and Parks for approval, for review and approval.
Is there any discussion from the board?
I got a little bit to go yet. These are lots 1 through 7 that are just being platted this evening, and this is a utility easement right here that was increased to 30 feet along here. Lots 8 and 9 were platted in November of last year with a 10-foot utility easement, and so they vacated those two platted lots and renaming them 9A and 8A to show to reflect the increase in the utility easement to 30 feet on those two lots. This is just what it looks like on the satellite image with the beacon map below it. And the pinkish area here just shows that these lots were already platted at this time compared to these are just the green. So this is the preliminary plat that was approved back in earlier. This is just the beacon map that shows the bare ground on that, and that's all that I have.
Is there any discussion from the board?
Yes, I have a question. When they bring the water into those lots, where they bring the water into them does not have to have an easement?
That would be between the developer and the rural water along there.
Okay, so that would be a separate easement then. Okay.
Is there any other discussion from the board?
How close is that to what you have?
Just across the fence?
Yeah.
Is there any discussion from the public? Seeing none, Richard, would you call the roll?
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
McHugh,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I got it on.
Section D, 2020 plat 008. Plat of block 21, block 22, block 23, Silverhorn Circle and Castle Rock Circle of Timberline Edition in the east, 1,635 feet of the north 1/2, northwest 1/4, except Clyte's Edition, and except the east 264 feet thereof in section 34, township 110 north range 50W of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kleinjohn,
Second.
second by Vanderwall. Richard, would you read the findings?
Yes, plat 2020, plat 008. Gerard Marorty is planning off 20.7 acres into 3 separate tracts. The property adjoins the Timberline Edition located in the southwest city limits of Brookings. The property owners will be submitting an application to be annexed into the city of Brookings in the near future, and platting of the property is the first step in that process, giving the property a legal description. If for some reason the annexation does not proceed, a residence cannot build on any of the blocks as they do not meet the size requirements.
Open it
Just-
to,
Just shows a plat here is block 22, and then a cul-de-sac drive, block 21, cul-de-sac, and block 23 will be, it's kind of a low area, be grass and wetland area there. There is a easement, or there is access to 8th Street South here, be private easement, or wouldn't not be a public drive at this time between the two developments. This just shows the beacon map with the satellite image below it, the 2 divisions right here, and then this is the wetlands area and the access right here. That's how that would be developed. Access off the city streets right here for those 2 developments. And the beacon map just shows the larger parcel of the property right here. And that's all that I have.
we'll open it to the board for discussion. Seeing none, we'll open it to the public for discussion. I'm seeing none. Richard?
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
McHugh,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
2020 Plat 009. Plat of Lot 1 of Richards Edition in the southeast 1/4 of Section 35, Township 109 North, Range 52W of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Nelson. Richard, please read the findings.
Yes, 2020 plat 009, Marvin Richards is platting off of 15 acres that contain the homestead and the building site off of the 158 acres they own. And the farmstead will use the existing driveway located on 220th Street for access to the property. The plat meets the platting requirements of the 2016 Comprehensive Plan of the Rural Land Use Area, found on page 24. Shows the plat, the road coming down here, 220th Street. Goes north along, follows the building site back here, and then back around. Existing driveway there. Shows the beacon map. The road kind of curves in just a little bit right here due to the
County line.
lay of the land right there. Comes across, follows the angle of the trees, and back down to the road, 220th Street. And that's all that I have.
Is there any discussion from the board?
Yeah, that's the county line.
Correct.
Correct, yep.
Seeing no other discussion from the board, I'll open it to the public. Is there any discussion from the public? Seeing none, Richard, would you call roll?
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Jensen,
Yes.
Erickson,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
McHugh,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Now we'll move on to department reports.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Brookings COVID-19 cases, 2 of them has been healed, per se. We have to be careful there, too. It is considered community spread, so they're recommending 6 feet apart anytime you go anywhere, no more than 10 people in a room. That's why you see us set up the way we are. This meeting is being televised, and we are going forward for the May meeting at this time, but that is also subject to change depending upon, in Minnehaha County, they put out some rules that basically would prohibit a meeting such as our planning meeting right now. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll play it by ear. Right now, we're planning on having our May meeting. It'd be the same way as it is now. And, but that's, everything's subject to change. The office, right now, we're still fully manned. Basically, under federal guidelines, most of your emergency management personnel is considered essential. We have had 1 employee work from home, and we'll just have to wait and see what kind of work keeps coming up. We still continuously getting phone calls day to day, so we are doing our work. Most of the work, or some of the zoning work could probably be done from home and be done satisfactory, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. If you've got elderly people in your household, be extremely careful. This stuff is out. People that does have no symptoms whatsoever can spread this disease. If you got an elderly person in your household and you want to guard them, you need to stay away from other people. I can't say it any plainer. You can listen to whatever news you want, but it's a virus. It's out. We don't know what's going on with it. We'll get over it. It might, the governor's calling July, August possibly. There's no schools. Everything's shut down, from what I can tell, probably to about August 15th at this time, and then they're probably doing another evaluation. So the county officially is reevaluating, I believe, the first week in May. Is that correct, Chairman?
That would be specifically for opening this building to the public jointly with the city. Our
So,
recommendations for social distancing and all the other CDC recommendations are still in effect until this is cleared by the Department of Health.
so the main goal is we want our planning commissioners to be safe. We want your families to be safe. This disease goes after anyone from newborn all the way to over 100 years old. You can survive it. I don't want to be a purveyor of only bad news. You can survive it, but if you've got a weakened immune system, and unfortunately I fall in that category of what they call weakened immune systems, you just literally have to be careful and watch your step and do the best you can. And it sounds like some of the main key things is a fever. If you start to run a fever continuously, over 100.4 or whatever it is, then contact your doctor. Do not go into a hospital or medical facility without first calling them if you feel you've got the disease. We do have 6 cases in Brookings County. It's spread through the community. So we'll see. Beadle County has more than we got, obviously. Watertown's got more than we got. Sioux Falls has got a whole lot more than we got. But it's around us, and it's spreading slowly but surely. So that's all I got. Just be safe. And that's all I got, Mr. Chairman, at this time.
Yeah, I'd like
Richard,
to-
do you have anything to add?
Yep, I'd like to welcome Kyle Vanderwall to the board. He's completing our vacancy that was in District 1, so he'll complete that term.
Yes, thank you. Sorry I did.
And that's all. Like I said, we're still working on the May meeting. We've got 3 items on the agenda so far, so we'll stay tuned and keep you informed. So that's all that I have.
Is there any need for an executive session tonight for any reason?
You might ask if anybody has anything they want to say real fast, but other than that, that's all I have.
Well, then,
Just say from the county commission side, we certainly appreciate everybody coming this evening. Again, at the May meeting, if you don't feel like you want to be here, go ahead and call in like they did tonight and be safe. We'd prefer you do that versus taking a chance. We'll see what happens with the numbers in the next few weeks. Obviously, this is an important time for all of us to follow the guidelines as much as we can. My gut reaction, my gut feeling is that if we do that for the next 2 or 3, 4 weeks, I don't think the numbers are going to get as bad as they tell us they're going to be. I think the models are wrong. I hope they're wrong anyway. And I think they're wrong simply because we've reacted in this country. I've been out and seen a lot of traffic and people because of my chairmanship. I'm out. I have to be. But at the same time, you can't believe the number of people that are taking the precautions and wearing the mask. If you feel threatened by it by any way, go ahead and put those things on. It can't hurt you at all to wear a mask if you want to. So again, I think we'll get through it rapidly. We need to get our economy back in line as quickly as we can. None of you want to be out of work, and the market's closed and everything else. So it's definitely an issue that we need to take care of rapidly. We already did a pretty good job, and you think this is only about 2.5 to 3 weeks into this thing, and I think there's already a little bit of a flattening. But if we think that flattening is a reason to go out and not do anything for the next 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be sadly mistaken. If we can continue this for 2 or 3 weeks more, I think this country's done a heck of a job to nip this in the bud as quickly as we possibly can without a vaccine. So That's my comment from the county commission.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Motion Bartley,
Thank you, gentlemen, on the telephone call.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody.
meeting adjourned.